It's time to predict the scores for week 31 of this 2022-2023 Premier League season. Last week's top score, with a magnificent score of 20.5 points, was Ark Wolf 1991, probably one of the highest of the season, especially when you consider they came away with 6 perfect scores. So congratulations on that score, Carlos, aka Ark Wolf 1991, and also the full 90 with 17.5 points. How that affects the overall leaderboard now? Well, Ferris 77 is still at the top of the table on 292.5 points, but Matt from the full 90 has moved up 4 spaces to 285.5 points. But let's swiftly move on, get down to business, and make some predictions for game week 31.
Okay, so first up we have the midday between Villa and Newcastle. Now, both teams in excellent form. Villa, fantastic. Newcastle, fantastic. You could, Villa pushing for Europa League. Newcastle trying to cement themselves in the Champions League places, which I think they will do. Difficult, this one. Normally I go for a Newcastle win, but with the way Villa have been playing recently and dispatching teams in particular below and around them as well, this will be a real test to see if Unai Emery has got them playing. I think it's going to be a draw, 1-1.
Yeah, I agree with that score, Nathan, that result, 1-1. Looking at Villa's results, though, they have been playing teams lower than in the table, like Forest, Leicester, who are woeful at the moment, Chelsea, who are woeful, a good away win at Stamford Bridge, Bournemouth, okay, they're doing alright, but they easily dispatched them 3-0, a draw against West Ham and a win against Crystal Palace, although that was when Vieira was in charge. So decent results against lower end teams. Newcastle, though, 5 wins on the bounce. You would ordinarily go for a Magpies win in this one, but at Villa Park, in front of their home fans, I think this is going to end up as a 1-1 draw. Moving on to the first of the 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday the 15th of April. We've got Chelsea coming up against Brighton now. Chelsea changing formation slightly now, moving from a back
still not
5.
working for them though, is it?
No, from a back 5 to a back 4. They are in action this evening against Real Madrid. That's going to be kicking off in about the next 10 minutes or so. Brighton, I thought they were really unlucky to come away with a defeat last time out against Tottenham. Particularly, they should have been awarded at least 1 penalty.
That was a disgrace.
Yeah, and I think they had a goal disallowed as well. Okay, Mitoma, you could say handballed it, but really unlucky against Spurs. I think they will go to Chelsea. Fat Frank is getting, his feet under the table, getting used to things once again. He's probably going to be tinkering around that team. I know he was a real good fan of Pulisic in his last 10 years. So I think Brighton will come and pick their pockets and come out with a 2-1 victory. Yeah,
Brighton are going to get a victory here, and I think they're even going to keep a clean sheet as well.
Wow.
Chelsea haven't actually scored this month, and they haven't scored in their last 3 matches either. So yeah, standard 2-0 victory for me.
Although Havertz, I think it was in the last match, wasn't it? Handball for him.
He did,
that was really unfortunate, and he has been getting in some really good positions as well.
He has indeed. Anyway, moving on, next up we got Everton versus Fulham. Now, both teams sort of in patchy form, you could say. Everton grinding out draws, and then Fulham, since the Mitrovic ban, which everyone knows I don't agree with, it completely over the top. They've lost their last 4 matches on the bounce, and goals are flying in, let's just say. But I don't know why. I think Fulham are going to go to Goodison and turn it round here.
Maybe.
Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah, they have got a decent team, Fulham, but 4 losses on the bounce. Law of averages would say they'd get a draw or a win in this one.
Some difficult fixtures there, though.
Yeah, Everton, 1 win in their last 6, but they are on 27 points, exactly the same number of points as Nottingham Forest, who are currently in 18th position and occupy the last of those relegation spots. So Dyche at home, backs against the wall.
Yeah.
He's going to make it very, very difficult for this Fulham side. I can't see many goals in this one, but I think Everton will just sneak it with a 1-0 home victory. We then move on to the next fixture, which sees Southampton coming up against a rejuvenated Crystal Palace. A fantastic 5-1 victory against Leeds in their last fixture, where they came from behind in that match as well. Likes of Eze, Elise in that match were absolutely phenomenal. Hat-tricks of assists there for Elise too. Southampton, okay, they keep grinding away, but a back-to-back defeats. It was a 4-1 defeat against the Citizens, Man City, in the last match, and prior to that it was a defeat away against West Ham. I don't think Crystal Palace will roll all over them, but I do think Crystal Palace under Roy, this resurgence is going to continue, but I think it'll be close. I'm going to go for a 2-1 away victory.
Yeah, this is going to be a standard Palace dispatch, to be honest. I'm going to go 2-0 Palace. Southampton, think they're basically in the Championship now, and that bottom place, unless wait until I get on to Leicester later, but yeah, they're nestled into it, aren't they? Anyway, moving on, next up we've got Spurs coming up against Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth have got a bit of a pattern, haven't they? Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Yeah, playing well in the odd game, but next week they just throw it all out the window and get absolutely smashed by at least 2 or 3 goals. But whereas Spurs, since Mr. Conte has left, they're starting to actually grind out results. Yes, they're by low margins, but they're just about doing it. Question is it going to happen here? Probably. I can see Bournemouth still scoring though. 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, I don't think Bournemouth will score in this fixture. If you do look at their last 6 matches, they've lost against top tier teams, the likes of Arsenal, Aston Villa, who are on a great run, Brighton as well, and their victories have come against Liverpool away from home have been absolutely hopeless this season. Fulham, who are on a bad run, and Leicester City, who are woeful. So if they were playing a team, in the bottom half, then maybe Bournemouth could gain a victory in this one.
They do have a good squad on paper though.
Yeah, they do, and they have been playing well, and in that last fixture against Leicester, I thought they were very good. However, coming up against the Tottenham side, who really want to get back into the Champions League spots, I think they're going to have a bit of difficulty, so I'm going to go for a Spurs home win. Harry Kane's going to continue his phenomenal scoring record of recent times, and I'm going to see a 2-0 victory for Tottenham. We then move on to the final 3 o'clock fixture on a Saturday, which sees Wolves coming up against Brentford. Brentford now 2 defeats on the bounce, and really Ivan Toney's penalty miss really cost them against Newcastle in that last fixture. Wolves, very, very hard to predict. 2 wins in their last 6, 3 defeats.
Still playing well though.
A victory at home against Chelsea, and prior to that it was a draw against Nottingham Forest, so really hard to predict. So I am going to sit on the fence with this one. I think both teams will score, although Wolves will make it difficult for Brentford. I'm going to go for a 1-1 scoreline in this one. Hard to predict.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's going to be tight as well, but there's just something about Lopetegui's side that really, really catches my eye. Brentford, they've started to dip a little bit now, and I think it's going to be for that exact reason. 1-0 Wolves.
And only 1 win in the last 6 for Brentford.
Absolutely. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we have got the 5:30 between Man City and Leicester. Now, Leicester pointing Dean Smith. I think that's a bit of a panic appointment, to be honest, because they couldn't get their hands on Graham Potter, who was their first choice, and I believe Jesse Marsh bizarrely turned them down. Now, that is a disaster avoided for Leicester, because I do not rate him at all as a manager, but yeah, I think that appointment pretty much seals them in the Championship now. Man City, great run, destroying Bayern. How many are they scoring? I'm going to go 4 in this one.
4, yeah. It's about how many they score. Dean Smith has taken over, so there may be a bit of a managerial bounce. They can probably be a lot tighter at the back, or he'll want to make them a lot tighter at the back. As you say, Manchester City, a phenomenal result against Bayern Munich, 3-0. So yeah, Manchester City 5, Leicester City, the Foxes, the hapless Foxes 0. They are staring a relegation in the face. Can Dean Smith work his magic? Moving on to the Sunday fixtures, see West Ham at home against Arsenal, an all-London affair. West Ham currently out of the relegation spaces in 14th position, only 3 points though above the drop zone. Haven't they've actually scored in every single match at home since the turn of the year as well as West Ham. So I can actually see them scoring in this one. Arsenal look sumptuous. They look really good at Anfield last weekend until Trent got involved with a bit of argy-bargy with Xhaka. That galvanised Liverpool team. But Arsenal, with the return of Jesus up front, I can see them winning 3-1 at the London Stadium.
Interesting. Yeah, I think this is going to be exactly the same as well. 3-1. Arsenal are going to just pile in the goals until the end of the season now, to be honest. West Ham, you could say they're pretty much safe at this point. It'll knock them back a little bit, but I think they will just about bounce back because they have been improving, to be fair. So yeah, 3-1. Moving on, next up we've got Nottingham Forest against Man United. Forest, as we all know, shambolic away from home. Terrible run of form. Man United... you don't really know what to predict against them, to be fair. They have won the last 2 matches, but Brentford, Everton, both in poorish form. So it's hard to judge, to be honest, but I think Forest will score, but I think Man United will just nick it 2-1.
Yeah, well, Marcus Rashford is probably going to be injured with this one, with a bit of a groin injury, hasn't he? And that could keep him out for a number of weeks. Casemiro coming back into action. He's been out for a little bit of a while with his ban. I think they're in action on Thursday evening, aren't they? In the Europa League or the whatever league. I think it's the Europa League, isn't it? Not the Mickey Mouse Cup competition. But the likes of Eriksen is coming back. Bruno Fernandes should see himself move forward with Casemiro coming back into the side. So I think Man United will take all the points in this one. I can see them winning 2-0. And the final fixture of this game week takes place on Monday evening. We've got Leeds United up against Liverpool. Leeds smashed in their last match. Liverpool take a lot of confidence from coming back into that game against Arsenal. So I think Liverpool's woeful form away from home could see them end up in a draw, but I will go for a Liverpool victory. I'm going to go for 2-1. Salah missing again from the penalty spot, although I think that's too on trot, but if you take that into context of the last 10 penalties, it's not that bad.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just going to edge Liverpool out on this one. Leeds, I think their new manager bounce is going to end here. They have been a bit patchy recently, and with the way they played against Palace, there is absolutely no way I can see them bouncing back in this one, but not going to be by much. 1-0 Liverpool.
Ban Dabby Dozy, as somebody used to say. So that concludes our predictions for week 31 of this 2022-2023 Premier League season. Make sure you leave your predictions over at the Super Brew website, as everyone else is. See if you can climb up the table and become the top scorer for the game week, as you'll get a shout out in the next video. Now, Cardiff City this weekend playing away at Bramall Lane on Saturday lunchtime against Sheffield United. We're not actually at that match, Nathan, but will there be a live stream because it's actually on TV?
Probably won't even be up at that time, but apart from
12.
But anyway, another manager's gone. Who's next?
Who knows? Maybe Steve Cooper, but they won't get rid of Steve Cooper, will they? So who knows? I don't know.
I reckon it'll be Moyes, to be honest. Either Moyes or...
Only if they start to drop off.
Or even Lampard, actually, to be fair.
Already, yeah. Apparently they're not happy already, but there we are. Yeah, thanks for joining us once again. Enjoy your Premier League weekend. We'll see you all in the next video.
My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. 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 Yeah. This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking.